Hello and welcome to the news here on Magic Bricks, now India's first property business channel. I'm Krishna Kumar. Let's take a look at the top stories that we're tracking. Warehouses could be to 2016 what commercial real estate was in 2015. Marquee players have lined up and are looking to pump in nearly $1 billion into this segment. Our special news series, Property 2016, continues. This week, we tell you how your government plans to make your commute faster, smoother and easier. Today, we take a look at Maximum City, Mumbai. And after smart cities, get ready for the Clean City Challenge this year. Banking on the momentum created by smart cities, the government is looking to tap into citizen power to clean up the country. So how clean is your city? Straight to our big story. It could be the next big thing in Indian real estate, and early movers are looking to invest close to $1 billion into warehouses in India. Why, you ask? My colleague Aishwarya Paliwal has this report with all those details.
From constructing buildings to now constructing warehouses, real estate developers are shifting gear, and they are also shifting their focus. A lot of them are looking at heavily investing in the warehousing sector in India. According to CBRE, the warehousing sector in India could touch anywhere close to 125 million square feet of space in the next 5 years. Big players like Bengaluru-based Embassy Group and Assets Group have already come out with their plan. Embassy Group has already formed a $250 million warehousing joint venture with global private equity player Warburg Pincus. This happened last year. They are looking at procuring lands anywhere between 50 to 200 acres in cities like Ahmedabad, Pune and Bengaluru. Now, some of the few reasons why this has happened is because a lot of these players are very confident that the goods and services tax would be implemented next year. Also, they are seeing a boom in the e-commerce industry. E-commerce players like Amazon and Flipkart are the ones who have been driving the warehousing industry in India for the past 2 to 3 years. Also, we are seeing a spurt in manufacturing on account of Make in India campaign. Now, actually what GST will do is that it will cut the multiple number of taxes that players had to pay. So the multiple warehousing strategy will now be replaced with centralized large warehouses. Private developers are excited because such large warehouses would ensure them a steady flow of income with very little investment.
So real estate players are betting big on warehousing, and to give us more perspective on why real estate players are shifting gears and entering the space, we are being joined now on the news by Mr. Jasmine Singh, Head Industrial and Logistics at CBRE South Asia. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for being with us here. Tell us, first up, I want to start by asking you, why are we seeing this shift now? What prompted developers to enter the segment?
I think part of this is also because of the space absorption that the e-commerce sector has done in the past year and a half. The challenges that developers have had to persuade grade A tenants like Amazon and Flipkart to come into their warehouses because of quality issues. And I think because these e-com companies have set new benchmarks for quality, people see a potential of higher rentals, higher yields, and that's why they want to unlock the value of land parcels that they have or they intend to purchase to cater to this requirement. Gone are the days that you would negotiate a sub-10 rental in Bhiwandi or a 10 to 12 rupee rental range in Gurgaon. Today, we are talking about an upwards of 20 rupees per square feet of rentals for a grade A property anywhere in the Bhiwandi region or the Gurgaon region. So the interest also stems from a commercial reason along with GST adding the icing on the cake.
Mr. Singh, I wanted to ask you, have you seen a lot of real estate players coming into this space? Do you expect a lot of players to come into the space sector, say over the next 3 to 5 years?
There are a whole lot of venture capital and private equity people who are eyeing this sector for the past 5 years. There are global developers like Prologis, Mapletree, GIC who've been eyeing this market and doing studies for the past 5 to 6 years. And I think there are all fringe sitters who are just waiting for the right deal to happen for them to jump into this sector. So we see a lot of traction happening in the past 6 months since the GST picked up steam. And we still see that traction coming in because all these people believe that GST is going to come in, and that's the way to go forward.
Now, before I let you go, Mr. Singh, my last question to you, will we see this shift impact the residential real estate space?
So if we are talking about larger format warehouses coming in a post-GST scenario, it goes without saying that when large hubs come up, which will see a footfall of, let's say, about 2,000 to 3,000 people coming in and working in that warehousing complex on a daily basis, it will definitely have an opportunity coming in for allied real estate portfolio like residential, commercial, and retail. However, it might not be on the lines of what you see in South Bombay or Gurgaon or let's say posh localities. These would be primarily EWS constructions for blue collared workers out of the warehouses, with some component for white collared workers who want to stay there. It will definitely have shopping centers coming up because that will basically serve their needs of living in that area. And obviously, allied infrastructure will also develop.
Mr. Jasmine Singh of CBRE South Asia, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news on Magic Bricks Now. Moving on to our special series, Property 2016. Now, this week we kicked off a special series on what your government has in store to make your daily commute faster, smoother and easier. Like I told you, on the 4th of January, we at Magic Bricks Now will get you updates on all the major infrastructure projects that will get going in 2016. As always, we will focus on our 4 core markets: Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Pune and Bengaluru. We kick things off with the Delhi NCR region, and today we focus on the Mumbai market. Here's a report from my colleague Disha Shah with all the details.
The work for the infrastructure projects worth 57,000 crore rupees is expected to begin this year in the city of Mumbai. Some of the key projects include the much talked about the Mumbai Coastal Road project, which will connect North and South Mumbai, aiming to ease traffic, especially on the Western Express. The cost of the project is estimated to be 13,000 crore rupees. And as we all know that it crossed a major hurdle last week when Forest Advisory Committee gave its nod to the Coastal Road project, and the tenders of which is expected to be issued by June this year. Moving on to another big infrastructure project which is in the pipeline is the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link, which will connect Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, where the new airport is proposed. And once this infrastructure project is implemented, the main aim is to curb congestion, and the tenders for which is expected to be issued by March this year. Both of these projects have a deadline to meet, which is by 2019. Moving on to one of the costliest infrastructure projects that the city of Mumbai could have in 2016 is the development of the Metro Line 3 project, which will connect Kafparet Business District in the extreme south of the city to Seeps in the north central. When completed, officials claim it will be the first underground metro line in Mumbai, and the cost for which is very costly amongst all the infrastructure projects, which is 23,000 crore rupees. And the main aim is to reduce road congestion, besides reducing the load on the western line between Bandra and Churchgate. And lastly, Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation, officials claim that commuters in the city of Mumbai could start using the new metro services by 2020.
And to give us more details about Mumbai's metro connectivity plans, we are being joined on the phone line by Ashwini Bhide, Managing Director at the Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation. Mr. Bhide, thank you so much for taking time out with us here on the news on Magic Bricks. My first question to you is simple. With 3 metro projects under the pipeline, how will this improve connectivity in Amchi, Mumbai?
As we all know, the suburban rail connectivity is basically north and south, and east-west connection is always a problem in Mumbai. Plus, suburban stations are also generally distanced at 2 to 5 kilometers. So in the metro, actually, it reaches to the areas which are generally not connected by a rail-based transport. So these 3 metro projects, one which is being done by Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation and other 2 which are being done by MMRDA, they are basically aimed at the areas which are not properly connected by rail-based transport, and they will open up new areas and bring them on the rail connectivity.
Ms. Bhide, the Colaba to Seeps Metro will be Mumbai's first underground metro rail. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I would say the first underground corridor of Mumbai, and probably the longest underground corridor of the country. That is going to connect almost 6 CBDs, and most of these CBDs are today not on the rail network. So that is basically going to improve the connectivity and bringing more convenience and comfort to the commuters of Mumbai.
Ms. Bhide, how will these lines feed into the existing transport networks in Mumbai?
Mumbai Metro Line 3, which is the Colaba to Seeps corridor, that will get connected to Central Railway, Western Railway, as well as the existing monorail and Metro Corridor 1. There will be interchange stations between Mumbai Metro Line 3 and Central Railway at CST, with Western Railway at Churchgate and Mahalakshmi, with Mumbai Monorail at Mahalakshmi, as well as with Metro Line 1 at Marol. So, if you can just look at this alignment, that will connect all this existing rail-based transport network, and then it will create a kind of a grid on account of which people can commute easily from one destination to another.
Now, Ms. Bade, before we let you go, tell us what else is in the works as far as the Mumbai Metro is concerned?
It is going to basically give opportunity to redevelopment of certain areas, because this Girgaon Kalba Devi, for example, today that area itself is waiting for further redevelopment, and the corridor having two stations in Girgaon and Kalba Devi is going to give us that opportunity. Plus, this is almost a 23,000 plus crore project, which is going to create a lot of employment opportunities as well as opportunities for many local businesses. So, because this kind of investment over a period of 5 years, that is definitely going to trigger the economic activity in the city.
Ashwini Bide, Managing Director of Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news on Magic Breaks Now. Shifting focus, then, the Supreme Court has refused to lift the ban on registration of diesel cars over 2000cc in the National Capital Region and has allowed the temporary ban to continue. However, the Apex Court has asked car manufacturers to provide documentary evidence to back their claims that BS4 diesel cars are less polluting than petrol cars. The Apex Court observed that the order would be recalled if auto companies could prove that these vehicles are less pollution creative. If they fail to prove this, then the Apex Court may impose tax on all diesel vehicles. The Supreme Court will hear the case on the 20th of January. Time now to take a look at what else is making headlines in the world of realty. In a bid to curb fraud by realty developers in Rajasthan, the state's Urban Development and Housing Department is working on a cyber portal. Developers and local authorities will have to upload details of a scheme's approval, stages of its progress, allotments and other details regularly on the site. The state has also framed a draft policy titled Urban Development Scheme Policy 2015 for the same. Currently, the state is inviting public suggestions. At road projects worth 41,000 crore rupees, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari announced these projects on the 5th of January. The Union Minister also announced the construction of 2 expressways from Hyderabad to Bengaluru and Vijayawada. Additionally, the government will prepare the detailed project reports for the 2 express highways soon. 1,800 kilometers of roads in Telangana will also be developed as national highways. Now, after competing to get a smart tag, cities this year will compete to get clean. You heard it right. The Urban Development Ministry has commissioned a survey called Swatch Competition to review sanitation and hygiene conditions in 75 major cities in the country. And like the Smart Cities Challenge, here too the ministry is banking on citizen power. Our reporter Deepa Rana gets us this detailed report all the way from New Delhi.
We saw how the citizens compelled the state governments into action during the Smart Cities competition, and now, based on the same model, the central government has come up with the Cleanest City Award, or the Swatch Sarvekshan Abhiyan, which is in action. This is going to have 75 cities racing for the Cleanest City title, out of which 53 cities are going to be those having 10 lakh or above population, and all state capitals which are going to be part of this competition. the Urban Development Ministry and the Quality Council of India are together going to judge these 75 cities. The Prime Minister himself is going to choose the jury of experts who are going to visit these 75 cities and find out if they are clean or based on the cleanliness and the hygiene. Now, this is also going to foster a healthy spirit among the cities, as the people themselves are going to participate along with the municipal cooperation of all of these cities. Also, it is important in terms of the real estate sector, as now the citizens are going to choose not only a clean neighborhood but a clean city, and also a place where it's going to be more cleaner to live and build up a home. Now, the results of this competition is awaiting on 26th of January, but it is likely to be announced. The list is going to be announced on 26th of January, but all in all, it's going to be a very interesting and healthy competition to have a clean city and a clean country.
Interesting and healthy competition. Now, Deepa also caught up with Adil Zainul Bhai, the chairman of Quality Council of India, and asked him what the Swatch Survekshan project was all about. Listen in.
It is to track their cleanliness over the next many years, quarter by quarter. And the idea is not to select one out of the 75 cities that we are now looking at, but to ultimately look at 4,000 cities, and including villages and rural hamlets and rural habitation, because the idea is of Swachh Bharat is to have cleanliness everywhere. But if you apply it to cities, we have a very large number of towns and cities, and we have to start somewhere. So it's starting with 75 cities to begin with. So we've trained a large number of inspectors who will go to 75 cities. These are experts, and we've spent several days training each of them. And in fact, this program has already started. They're going and visiting cities and looking at what the city has done, and as well as visually inspecting sites within the city to see if it's clean. It's based on very analytical methods and data collection at 75 cities. Ultimately, it will be, the PM's decision, but it will be based on the scoring mechanism which has already been established by Ministry of Urban Development in conjunction with various experts as to what the scoring mechanism will be. The timing is that the PM would like to announce the cleanest cities in India on January 26th. So it's there's a very short time frame to try and get all of the field work done and all of the data collection done so that this decision can be made.
Shifting focus then, buyers in Unitech's Gurgaon project, the exquisite, had to return empty-handed again from a meeting with the developer today. Viewers would recall that over 100 buyers had protested at the project site about 2 weeks back, demanding the possession of the homes that they were promised to be delivered in 2013. Deepa Rana gets us this update on the buyers' struggle to get their dream homes.
Unitech has left at least 300 home buyers in a state of limbo. A home buyers association called the Exquisite Owners Welfare Association Gurgaon met the Unitech chairman Ramesh Chandra today, asking for the possession of their homes located in sector 71, 70A and 69 sectors of Gurgaon, the possession for which was promised to them in 2013 but has not been delivered yet. They had earlier done a protest on the same during the month of December, as we had earlier reported also. Now, these Home Buyers Association met today with the chairman and asked that if the possession of these houses of 109 apartments to be given to them by August 2016 in a memo, which had to be signed between the developers and the home buyers. However, the meeting failed, as Ramesh Chandra has sought more time from home buyers, about 45 days time to discuss on the matter. The home buyers now claim that Unitech doesn't want to come clean on its stand whether these apartments are going to be delivered or not. It has been more than 1.5 years that the home buyers are waiting in vain for the possession of these apartments. They claim that we have paid all the EMIs and are left in a state of limbo. Now, we tried to speak to the Unitech organization as well, but we haven't got any response from the organization. The home buyers are now questioning the intent of Unitech and asking that if the apartments are going to be at all delivered to them or not.
Buyers struggling for their homes over there, but moving away from all of that, each of our identities, personalities and quirks are most often displayed at our homes. We all love our individual pads, and I'm sure that all of us want to maximize our space, especially if we live in a city like Mumbai that has a space crunch of the biggest magnitude. So if you'd like some easy tricks to help you maximize your living space to the max, then here's some interesting tips from this week's episode of the Interior Show. Take a look.
Anita, the first thing I noticed when I entered this house was this spectacular passage. It's so spacious. So how did you go about designing this passage?
The most important thing was this painting. It was given to me by my mother. So this was like the focal point of the entire house. And sort of took the colors from the painting and amalgamated it around the house.
Anita, what really caught my attention here was the high ceiling and how you've accentuated it by use of wood.
The beauty of living in a bungalow like this is that we have very high ceilings. So I said, you know what, the design has to go on the ceiling. So not only does it take away from the other space, the ceiling is designed, plus it also allows me to bring in predominant lighting and light up this passage. Again, the passage is so long, so I wanted some kind of table that was large. Very difficult to find, so what I actually did was I went and bought solid block of wood, which you can only buy by what they call the gun foot.
Okay.
And this, I got a carver to come, and they do this particular sort of gouge out, because it would be very boring to just, So I had this carved, and it gives a little bit of design and different texture, and so that's it.
It's wonderful. So where are you taking me next?
To the kitchen.
Let's go. Anita, I must say that it's not very often that we feature kitchens on our show. And you've probably, turned around the most mundane area into something so interesting.
Well, I like to cook. And I've always loved green. So I sort of searched and important little accents of green here and there, so it would be pleasing to the eye.
And it's nice how you've used the color green in elements that are completely mobile.
Yes, that's the most important thing. I like green today, tomorrow I may like blue. So I can replace.
But Anita, tell me, isn't it risky to introduce so much white, especially in kitchen?
You're not the first. Most of my clients sort of get petrified when I suggest a white countertop. It shows dirt faster, but it's completely maintainable because materials you can bleach, and things like tiles and counters, they don't stain, so there's no question of spots or stains.
And with that, we are completely out of time here on the show. But remember, if you have any feedback or suggestions for us, write to us on the email ID flashing on your screens. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, so feel free to tweet to us or post your query on our Facebook page. We would love to hear from you. Also, remember to check out our live streaming website, www.mbnow.in. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of the news here on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.